Am I the asshole for not cleaning the toilet my husband blew up? I'm writing this because I'm standing my ground based on principle but not sure I'm totally right. So my husband and I have separate chores that we've taken on in our relationship, and part of mine has always been cleaning the bathrooms. He's never picked up a toilet brush in his life, and I'm usually perfectly fine with doing my part. I cleaned it before we left for dinner tonight and all was well. After dinner, something didn't agree with him and he spent a good 30 minutes in the bathroom, although I could hear him in there playing on his phone for a while. Later, when I went to use it myself, I found that it was destroyed in a way I'm struggling to describe. Dried crap was splattered all over the bowl, all over the bottom of the seat. It was bad, like I actually gagged. And I had just cleaned it before we left, so I was especially pissed that he'd made no effort to correct the situation. When I told him I was grossed out, he pretended that he didn't know he'd left it that way, which didn't make sense because he has eyes. I said that he needs to clean it. No way am I doing it, especially since I'd just done it hours before. He said, so what, I'd just done it, that bathroom is my job. He then said that he'd just bought me dinner, and me refusing to clean up his mess made me ungrateful, although he's just come back from a 3-week vacation and I took care of our 2 kids by myself and the dinner was supposed to be a thank you for that. Things escalated and ended by him shouting, "If you don't clean it, that will show me who you really are," and I don't even know what that means. All I know is I feel like if the situation were reversed, I wouldn't have left such a mess for him and told him it's his problem to deal with. So am I the asshole for not doing a chore I would normally do because of this specific situation? I acknowledge that this is normally my job, but I feel like this is not a normal situation. Edit. So after reading all the comments and thinking over my husband's patterns of behavior, I have a bigger problem than just a nuclear explosion in the toilet. This is the same man who wanted me to make sure me and the kids didn't get COVID because it would ruin his 3-week trip, not because we could die, or anything. The same person, when he saw me clearly grieving over the loss of a dear friend to COVID, called it a buzzkill because I wasn't in the mood for sex. And the kicker was when he called my dear friend a moron for not getting vaccinated and therefore kind of deserved what he got. My friend left behind 4 little girls who I guess don't deserve a dad? All this is just a month's worth of incidents where I'm slowly starting to wake up to the fact that he's not really a good person. It's gotten progressively worse in the last month and I'm really not sure who I married anymore. This morning the first thing he said to me when he got up, at noon, was, "So are you finally ready to apologize for your behavior last night?" No, but I am ready to move myself into the guest room, which is close to the toilet that is still usable. There's some changes coming and I can't believe I didn't see this relationship for what it was until a bunch of strangers told me what was up. Thank you to everyone, this doormat has grown a backbone. Him shouting, "If you don't clean it, that will show me who you really are," he's completely correct about that. This will show him whether you're the sort of person who's prepared to put up with his completely unreasonable shit, or not. Show him you're not. Edit. I should add, for the sake of formality, that you are not the asshole. I think we're all pretty clear on that. Not the asshole. Your chore is general toilet cleaning, not every time after he has an explosive shish. He threw the dinner back in your face. You took care of the kids so he could have a vacation. Him yelling about, showing who you really are, actually just revealed who his really is. A self-centered pig. You're not a partner. You're his bangmate. You deserve better. Not the asshole. Obviously, if your husband made a huge mess, he should clean it up. Is he a toddler? Honestly, it sounds like your relationship isn't in a great place. I would suggest working on that, perhaps by getting therapy. Or a lawyer. Not the asshole. I'm a firm believer you should leave a toilet as if you had never been there. You may have your chores, however I think this is pushing it too far. There is cleaning a bathroom and then there is cleaning fresh crap. I would never subject my partner to that, I would be too embarrassed. Not the asshole. Also, he just came back from a 3-week holiday without you and the kids? Are you his wife or employee? Not the asshole. Ew. I literally had to put my chocolate ice cream back to fridge as I'm reading this. What a slob he is. Not the asshole. That's absolutely disgusting. When it's sick or diarrhea, you clean it up yourself. No one should have to clean up another adult's dried shit. Edit. As I keep saying in comments, obviously if someone is ill and cannot physically do it themselves, then it's an obvious exception. But OP's husband wasn't ill, hence my comment. Edit. 2. Sick, in the UK means, vomit, not ill or poorly like it does in America. Info. Please can you explain how he has a 3-week holiday when he has 2 kids? How did that happen? Not the asshole. No one should have to clean up other people's shit when they're capable of doing it themselves. Am I the asshole for blowing up at my dad's partner and her daughter out of fear of giving up my privilege? So, background first. I, 18M. Live with my dad. Parents are divorced. 4 years ago dad met a woman Anna and her daughter Simone, same age as me, and started dating. I had no problem with her or Simone as I believe he deserves to be happy, but I later saw that Simone really hates my dad. She would make snide remarks to him, disrespect his authority in his own house, they moved in with us, and generally making sure he knows he's not her father so she doesn't have to do anything he says. I said nothing since I don't like conflict, something I picked up from my dad, and I believe that, if it doesn't concern me or my interests, I shouldn't get involved. My dad always wanted to have a relationship with Simone but he never forced her. He would propose something and if he got a no, he would wait a few days and ask a second time, "Have you given it some thought about X?" If the answer was still negative he would drop it. I even saw Facebook posts she made with her bio dad about my dad where the both of them would poke fun at him for being a nerd. He's an IT genius if you believe his coworkers, but he makes foo levels of money, lol. It went on like this for the better part of the 4 years they've known each other. How here is where I think I'm the a-hole. My dad set up a college fund for me early and I worked my ass off to get a scholarship. And I did get it. Dad said it's great and that the fund will also be mine once I go to college. Now, Simone isn't a bad student by any means, but the college she chose is very expensive and she wants Dad to give her my college fund. I overheard my dad, Anna and Simone talking about this and I was like, hold up, what? Dad told me to stay out of it but I told him I would not as he's caved in to their demands in the past and I stood silent because I was young and it didn't concern me but this time it does. Simone said I was selfish because I was pretty much set up for life while her dad wasn't as well off to help her that much. I said that I deserved to be selfish since I didn't take the fund for granted and worked to get a scholarship, that the fund was my dad's gift as a recognition of my hard work. I told her she can't burn bridges and expect no fallout. She ran out of the room crying and her mom asked me why I'm so mean to her. To be fair, she could hardly say anything as at this point I was like a boiling red megaphone. Dad asked me to step outside for a smoke to cool off and I did. He later came to me and told me I was an a-hole for blowing up like that and that he would have handled it. Anna came to me and asked me why I hate her and her daughter that much. I told her I don't hate her as I'm in no position to argue my dad's life choices since my dad is a big boy and can choose for himself what to say or do and that the only thing I hold against her is her inability, unwillingness to teach her daughter diplomacy. Sue. Lay it on me. Am I the asshole for doing what I did? Edit. Many people believe my father is a pushover, but what they don't understand is that one doesn't need to be built like a tank, have a deep voice or scream 2 inches from your face like some army drill instructor. So long as you have the right attitude, patience and a high pain, physical, mental, tolerance you should be good. Not the asshole. While it probably could have been handled with more tact, the reaction from both women would have been unpleasant no matter how diplomatic you were because you weren't agreeing with them. Actions have consequences and since your father has never been treated with the respect of one, I can't imagine why he would take on the financial responsibility of one. Ultimately this is a decision for your father to make. You have loudly and vehemently expressed your opinion on it. Why WBTA if once your father decides what to do and don't agree you throw a fit? Bottom line, it is his money. Not the asshole. If the college fund is a $529, I don't think he can legally give it to anyone but you or your siblings or your children. Even if it's just a savings fund, the daughter should not get your money that was saved for you. It's your money. It's always been your money. Your father would be the asshole if he gave it away, especially to someone so rude and hateful towards him. I think it's time you had an honest conversation with your dad about the things she says about him. Many older folks aren't on Facebook to see things like that. And you may need that money for other expenses like renting an apartment or for going on to graduate school. Good luck. Not the asshole. The fact that Simone talks about you hate her while you don't even say anything about what she says about your dad is mind-boggling. Like one of previous reply, I don't care about the money, it's a matter of principle. I don't need much as I am single, child-free and will never stray from that path. Not the asshole at all. She wants to make fun of your dad and then leech off of him, that isn't okay. And her mother should have taught her better. It's disappointing that her mother doesn't correct her behavior either. Does your dad know about the videos that Simone posts making fun of him? If not, then you need to show him. And if he promised you that money then I would make a stink about it too. Just for the fact that he shouldn't give it to Simone. Like you said, it's his money, but it shouldn't be going to someone that openly mocks him and publicly humiliates him. For all he years of disrespect, Simone deserve a big kick up the and nothing else. What is the basis for giving her college $? Her mom sleeps with your dad. Pretty shaky. She needs to try for scholarships like you did. If your dad chooses to match what she is awarded, that would be more than fair. Not the asshole. You should set up a meeting with your dad, stepmom, and stepdaughter to let them know, again, you don't hate them but the stepdaughter does not deserve any money from your dad. Emphasize to stepmom how her daughter and her dad disrespect and make fun of your dad. If possible, show Facebook screenshots. Tell stepdaughter to F off and to get her own dad to fund her college. She can't have her cake and eat it too. NTA. So, Simone set boundaries with your dad and let him know she wants no familial relationship with him. She turned down every opportunity to bond with him. She was shitting on him on Facebook. And now she wants to get her hands on that fun? Hell no. She can ask her bio dad to help her out. Am I the asshole for telling my cousin to stay sick and refusing to help her anymore? This is a throwaway cause I don't want this post tied to my main Reddit account. My cousin Beth is 24, I'm 3 years older than her, and a know-it-all. She's been like this since we were kids. Cause she was so gifted and smart, Beth's parents spoiled her and didn't let her any consequences for her actions. For example, once when we were playing as kid, Beth threw a chunk of concrete we had found at me. I have a scar on my face from it and I remember Beth's parents saying it was my fault for being in the way of her throwing. Yeah, my fault. Beth has pretty much done nothing for herself. Her parents bought her car, paid for college, which she dropped out of, let her boyfriend live in their home for 2 years, and constantly buy her food cause she just doesn't know how to spend her money wisely. About 2 months ago Beth's car broke down. The transmission is shot to hell and it will not start. Since then I've been giving her riding in exchange for gas money. Beth's parents keep saying they will get the car fixed, however, my parents have told me they have no plans to get it fixed and are waiting on Beth to do it herself. Last night Beth's boyfriend called me saying she was throwing up, her mom refuses to come and she needs to go to the ER. Mind you, this call came at about 9 p.m. and I was about to go to bed. Still I drove up to check up on the situation and Beth was sick. I took her to the ER and waited until nearly 1 a.m. in the parking lot as due to COVID, I wasn't allowed inside with her. Beth came outside furious. I asked her what was wrong. She goes on a rant about how the doctor doesn't know what he's talking about, they did everything wrong and gave her medication she's allergic to. The doctor told her she has a UTI and a kidney injection, gave her 3 prescriptions for antibiotics and told her she needs to see her GM as soon as possible. Beth didn't tell her she was allergic to one of the prescriptions, called him a slur I won't repeat here and complained about the serve she got in the ER. I tried to explain that an ER doesn't have access to your entire medical history but Beth argued they do and they just wanted to get rid of her. She complained about the wait, the bed, the poor nurse that had to deal with her and more. I told her to stay sick then and said this was her last ride from me. This morning I woke up to missed call and text from Beth and her parents. Her parents want me to apologize cause Beth called them crying. They even offered to give me gas money from now on to keep giving her rides but I told them no. Am I the asshole? Edit. Hey guys, I just got home from work and saw all the messages. To better explain things, I live closer to Beth while her parents are a 2-hour drive away. That is why I went to check on her when her boyfriend called me. I did get a chance to talk to parents. They explained they planned on checking on her in the morning. Like me, they were getting ready for bed and didn't think whatever Beth wanted was an emergency. I did tell them about what the doctor said to Beth. Don't know if they will do anything about it but her parents know about. I did apologize later to Beth for the insult but was firm that I wouldn't be driving her around anymore. Not the asshole. Beth is an adult who should be making her own doctor's appointments and arranging her own car repairs. While her parents will likely keep enabling her poor behavior, you do not have to. Not the asshole. Beth needs a dose of reality. Uber is a thing, provided you are in an area that supports it. Public transport is a thing too. She can find her own rides. Her parents made this monster, they can deal with it. If she doesn't get an antibiotic for her infection, she can go septic. She's putting her life in her own entitled hands and that is not good. She can call an ambulance, again if your area supports that, and hopefully learn to fend for herself. Do not do a thing for this girl again. Curious that Beth's parents are oh so concerned about her when she rings them crying but didn't want to be bothered when they might have to give her a lift to the Not the asshole. To be perfectly honest, it might be best to go low or no contact with her. You obviously don't have a good relationship with her and, paid or not, she only seems to be interested in you ferrying her around when she needs it. You're not responsible for her or her situation. Not the asshole. Ideally, you would have dealt with this in a calmer way without insulting her, but you snapped under pressure and that ship has sailed now. It sounds to me that you've been under pressure from this situation for months, if not years now, and that it's finally become all too much for you. I agree that you should set some boundaries with Beth and no longer offer her rides or be her personal taxi service. Personally, I think your best bet is to apologize for the "stay sick" comment, which was not kind or necessary, but say that you are no longer going to be available to drive Beth places and that they must from now on make alternative arrangements. And then stick to that. Not the asshole, but maybe Beth has a point about the wanting to get rid of her. She certainly sounds unpleasant enough to test the patience of anyone. JK, I know real medical professionals wouldn't. You have every right to refuse to act as her taxi. She can call an Uber to the doctor, get her meds delivered, for a fee. I noticed how neither her boyfriend nor her parents have offered to drive her anywhere. You put up with this far too long. Oh, and you might want to block them for a while. Not the asshole. Let her parents take her where she needs to go. If she needs a ride to the hospital, let her call an ambulance. Time to go LC with this group of abusers, shifting to NC if that's what you have to do in order to maintain your sanity. Good luck. Not the asshole. You are under no obligation to help and she needs to learn the "don't bite the hand that feeds you" lesson on multiple levels. Not the asshole, but why did you stay friends with someone who literally scarred you? I don't know you, but you deserve better friends. Am I the asshole for not denying being a teenage mom? Okay, so I, 16F, babysit a lot, 2 very specific kids. Let's call them Kite, 8M, and his sister Pearl, 4F. Now thing is, Kite is unnaturally small and Pearl is a bit tall for her age. Him and his sister are the same height, and look like perfect twins. Only difference is gender. I look nothing like either kid, no hair color, eye color, or even facial features in common. At the time of story I'm 15, Pearl 3 and Kite 7. I often take them out for walks in the summer, or help their parents grocery shop by taking them to the snack aisle while their parents go to the food aisle. Every time I'm alone with the kids I either get disgusted looks, or people giving me money with a sympathetic look. Now I am poor, so I often just pocket the money because hey, I think it's rude they assume I'm a teen mom just because I'm walking with 2 kids. Well, last summer I was at the playground with Kite and Pearl. Kite loves playing with his sister. The 2 get along great despite being brother and sister, and I was sitting on a bench. My bag had drinks, snacks, bandages, fly be gone, sunscreen, you know the essentials. Well, this woman came over and sat with me while her kid went and played with Kite and Pearl. She saw my bag of stuff and immediately I see the look of sympathy. Might be a bit off on phrasing since it was a year ago, but this is basically what was said. Is it hard looking after 2 kids? She asked immediately. Yeah, they can be troublemakers. I replied with a joking smile. I was hoping she thought I was their sister, or babysitter, but I always know the issue of assuming teen mom. Do you have any help at home? She asked, and that's when I knew she thought they were mine. Sometimes if my mom is off work she'll help out. Or if my nanny has my cousins she'll join us for a play date. I replied, not a lie, as my mom loves Kite and Pearl since their parents are family friends, and my cousins are friends with Kite and Pearl. At this point Pearl came over to get a drink of her juice. The woman asked how old she was and Pearl held up 3 fingers. The woman asked my age. I answered honestly. Now, that would have made me 12 when Pearl was born. After a bit more chatting with her about the kids, like are they hard to feed? Do they make big messes? She has me $20. I hope this helps you out, she said. She smiled and left with her kid. I pocketed the money, as I always do. I told my friends the story recently and they said I should have mentioned I'm the babysitter, or made it clear I'm not a teen mom because it's rude to pretend to be one. I replied it's rude to assume every teenager with a baby is a mother. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit. I get that the way I answer questions can be misleading. I don't much like confrontation due to social anxiety, but I'm gonna try to be more careful with the way I address people like this woman going forward. I kinda just went with what my mother, a teen mom, told me to do. But I get now that I was being misleading in my answers even if I didn't actually realize it at the time. So I'm gonna be a bit more careful with what I say and how I say it from now on, especially if I do recognize the people who think I'm their mother. Yada. That money was intended to go to someone in need. It wasn't meant as a tip. These people are approaching what they believe to be a sensitive situation in attempt to express sympathy and not scare away who they believe to be someone in need. When she asked if you had help at home, you knew she was asking if you were a teen mom. And if I were the parent of those children, I'd be pretty mad that the babysitter I hired was leading others to believe she was their mother. Like, you are the asshole, while it is rude of people to make assumptions. And I don't blame you for keeping the money either. You are kinda taking advantage of people's sympathy, and it's also a little weird to kinda be claiming the kids as your children. You are the asshole for taking people's money. It's not right for them to make assumptions, but you were talking with her and had plenty of time to explain. Not the asshole their own fault for making an assumption instead of asking a question. Everyone sucks here. You should not be answering questions in a way that leads people to believe that you are their mother. People also shouldn't assume things either. What you are doing is dishonest. They are being judgmental. Regardless of how you are using the money, on the kids, for yourself, whatever, that could be going to someone else who actually needs it for food, shelter, etc. Not the asshole. People feel better about themselves after they give you money. You get to use the money. Not like you're a beggar or anything. It's a win-win situation. Good feelings all around. Of course you are the asshole. You're lying by omission, and you don't get a free pass just because they assume you're their mom. Your actions would suggest it, so it's a natural assumption. You're not saying anything to correct things because you like the free money. It's the same principle of people out panhandling wanting others to assume they're homeless when in fact they're not. They just don't correct the assumption, because they also want free money. So yeah, you are the asshole and you're old enough to know better. Not the asshole. You didn't lie, and it's not your fault that people come to the wrong conclusion.